Hello everyone and welcome to class of instance. Today in this class we are going to discuss about what instance is. So as we have discussed about Amazon EC2, the launching of virtual servers we call them as instance. So Amazon EC2 allows you to acquire compute through the launching of virtual servers. And launching of virtual servers we call them as instance. So an instance type, that means it determines the hardware of the host computer which is used for your instance. Instance type comprises various combinations of CPU, storage, memory, networking capacity, and we have the flexibility to choose the instance as per our requirement and as per our application demand. Each instance type offers different compute and memory capabilities. We require to select the instance which is totally based on the amount of the memory and computing power that required for application or software. Now we are limited to run up to total of 20 on-demand instances across an instance family. So we are limited to run 20 on-demand instances across instance family. We can purchase 20 reserved instances and we can request spot instances as per limit per region, as per our demand, or spot limit per region. New AWS accounts may start with limits that are lower than these limits described. That means 20 on demand, 20 reserved, and 20 spot instances. Now, what are these on demand instances, or what are the reserved instances and spot instances? On demand instances, that means that we can request or we can have to process our applications. Reserved instances are there for whenever there is a demand or there is more requirement for our application. And we have spot instances that can be given to us whenever we have more and more requirement. So let's discuss about concept to launch instances on AWS. There are two concepts that are key for launching on instances on AWS. The very first is amount of virtual hardware which are dedicated to the instance, and next is the software loaded on that instance. These two dimensions are controlled by instance type and AMI. Instance type. Instance type defines the virtual hardware supporting on Amazon EC2. That means we have dozens of Amazon instance types available. So, like we have virtual CPU, memory, storage, etc. Network performance. We have various families of the instances or type of instances. Now, how we can choose the instance type? We can check the network performance. We can check either low, moderate, or high. That means we need to specify our network performance. And next factor is AMI. Amazon Machine Images, it basically defines the initial software that will be on an instance when it is launched. AMI defines every aspects of the software state and instance launch. That means it defines the operating system and its configuration. It defines the initial state of any patches, and it defines application or system software. So let's discuss about various instance types. So these are the various instance types available. So T2 instances, compute optimized instances, memory optimized instances, storage optimized, accelerated compute instances, T1 micro instances, and we have resizing instances. We can see these are the name. For T2 instances, T2, M4 and M3, compute optimized C3 and C4, memory optimized R3, R4 and X1, storage D2, D3, I3, accelerated F1, P2, G2, CG1, T1 micro instances, T1 dot micro, and resizing instances. Now, what are T2 instances? T2 instances, these are Intel high frequency Xeon processors. These are intended for workloads that do not use full CPU often but occasionally need to burst. That means T2 instances are Intel high frequency Xeon processors. These are intended for such workloads that do not use full CPU but occasionally or sometimes they need to burst. T2 instances are well suited for general purpose workloads such as web servers, developer environment, or small databases. Now let's discuss about compute optimized instances. These are ideal for compute bound applications that benefit from high frequency or high performance processors. We have batch processing workloads, media transcoding, high traffic web servers, massively multiplayer online MMO gaming servers. We have serving engines, high performance computing, and other compute intensive applications. So, in such applications that require huge computing power, compute intensive applications, so we have instances that are compute optimized instances. Then we have memory optimized instances. These are fast performance, large datasets suited for high performance MySQL and NoSQL databases. These are for real time processing of big unstructured data, electronic design, automation processing. So, memory optimized instances are used for these applications. Then we have storage optimized instances. These are designed for workloads that require high sequential read and write access to any large datasets on local storage. That means if we require high or huge sequential read and write access to large datasets, so in that case we can use storage optimized instances. Then we have accelerated. These require high processing capability. You will benefit from using accelerated computing instances which provide access to hardware based compute accelerators such as graphic processing units, GPUs, or FPGAs, field programmable gate arrays. Then we have T1 micro instances. These provide a small amount of consistent CPU resources and it allows us to increase CPU capacity in short bursts. That means these are required so that we can increase the CPU capacity in short bursts when additional cycles are available. They are well suited for lower throughput applications and websites that require additional compute cycles periodically. We have resizing instances. Resizing, that means change the size of the instance simply by changing the instance type. So we call it as resizing it. So these are the various instances type. These are the families and these are the instances. Now we require to choose the instance as per our requirement. So this is a family of all the instances we can see here. Family D2, R4, M4, C4, G2, I2, F1, T2. We have P2 and X1. We can see here memory optimized and these are the use cases where they can be used. For graphic P2, machine learning, Bitcoin mining, low cost and general purpose T2, web services and small databases. F1, FPGAs, hardware accelerator for your code. I2 high speed storage, no SQL data warehousing. Graphic intensive video encoding, 3D application streaming. Compute optimized CPU intensive apps. General purpose M4 application servers. R4 memory optimized memory intensive apps. Dense storage, data warehousing, Hadoop, etc. So whenever we require to choose an instance, we require to specify network performance either low, moderate and high. For workloads require greater network performance, for instances we require to support enhanced networking. Now, enhanced networking basically reduces the amount of virtualization or network performance because it enables a capability which is known as SRIOV, single root output virtualization. It results in more packets per second, lower latency, and less jitter. So, these are the instances and how we can choose. That means combination. So, instances. Thank you so much.